Here we go. Season 2. Didn't tell this episode 5. First time Doug. First time that we're video. We're live again. We're back live. Jay's done some work around here.
Yes. Looks really nice. I even wore a clean shirt. Did my hair. Just because I knew we were going to be on video.
You don't own an iron though, do you?
I do not. This was a couple of slaps and
there you go.
put it on there. But,
Season 2,
yeah.
episode 5. Doug, we got a couple new guys. Well, not new.
No.
One new. We got our old buddy, old friend, Hal Hornet, Casey Branahan back with us again. I love Casey. I literally look up to Casey. He's always been a...
Not very far.
And then we got another Hornet here. He's a new guy, but very well known in the community, at least I think so. A lot of success, I feel, and heard and know. And his name is Jason Kimmel. Jason, welcome, man.
Glad to be here.
Glad you're here, man. I really am. Well, we're going to get this thing rolling. I've not really thought a whole lot of things through. We've been sitting here talking before we got going, and it's a lot of good stories already.
We're gonna have to repeat half of them again.
Oh yeah, I was talking to Jason earlier, and you know I've been on the baseball side, which almost everybody knows me knows I do a lot of baseball and stuff. But he's had I feel a lot of success with his kids. He's got some daughters. Jason, if you don't care to talk about them, just a little bit, if you would. I know that Mallory, we was talking about her, and successful at Cathedral. She played some college ball, but if you don't mind, go ahead and talk about your kids and brag a little bit if you would for me.
Oh, sure. It's easy to brag about my kids. Any father would say that. So I've got 3 daughters, Morgan, Mallory, Meredith, and then I have 3 stepchildren too that I'm really proud of too.
Okay, great.
I got Natalie, Abby, and Adam. So it's a big Brady bunch with our family. They're all doing well. They're 32, I think, down to 22. So we got them spread out over 10 years. All doing well, all super successful. So are on their way to be successful. So we're super proud of all of them.
Yeah, I was telling Jay, because obviously I'm really proud of Jay too, all my kids, but Jay played a little bit of college ball, and I know that me and you have that in common. And talked to you quite a bit about Mallory. She played
Played Dayton.
Dayton all 4 years.
All 4 years, yep.
She's living out in Colorado.
Yep, she's in Denver, Colorado. She's a high school special needs teacher out there now. So
Man, that's awesome.
I've lost her forever. She's not coming back for college.
Me and Doug is sitting down at the Lucas Oil down when the Colts games there a few weeks back. And Slab's boy, Cody, comes flying up, and we're talking. He goes, "Hey man, you know who I'm seeing?" I said, "No, who are you seeing?" He tells me, and I said, "Oh, you're in trouble now, brother."
Yeah, so Cody's dating Abby. So we got kind of a Kimmel Kale thing going on right now. I don't know where it's going, but it's kind of funny and comical watching it. So yeah, it's fun, which is really cool for Jennifer and I because Scott and Susie are real good friends of ours.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We love to get together. and do
You've always
stuff
been
with them.
family with the Kales, now you might be related.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Honestly, my first driving experience ever was with Scott. I was 15 years old, didn't have a license, and he was drunk, and I had to drive him home from downtown.
Well, I was out there.
well, wasn't a Maverick, was it?
Actually, I think we were playing with you. We were playing down at the.
Oh, now I get drug in.
we were playing basketball at the at old
Oh, yeah.
club.
Dearborn Hotel?
No, the one what's
At the Rathskeller?
now downtown right there. That old it had the bar.
Oh, yeah. The old, I want to say police, right there on Madison.
Yeah, so Madison.
Oh,
yeah.
the Madison Avenue Athletic Club.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I was outside before we got started, and kind of, we was reminiscing and talking and everything. I was showing Casey all, "Hey, look at my grandson, man, I already got him hitting and stuff." So Casey breaks out his, he's showing me. So me and Casey are already scheming our travel team. The grandkids are just 3.
Yeah, they're 3, Bobby. Okay? We don't need to call Chris Estep yet, okay?
Not yet, but we might. So Doug, let's go ahead and do it, man. Because I tell you what, when we first started this podcast this year, me and you are way off on our projections on the
I
Colts.
definitely underestimated our ability to coach.
Definitely
So,
GM.
I'm going to start there. Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll maybe be there, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes from here. We got.
If you guys don't know, when we first had our first one, we're all pumped up. We're Colts fans. I got us at 10-6-1. Doug's got us at 9-5-1 or whatever.
we wrong?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been rough.
been rough.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna ask a couple questions.
Sure.
Let's say you're Ursay and you get to do one thing. Casey, I'm not sure I'm gonna start with you. You're a Green Bay guy, but I'm gonna start with Jason. I'm gonna let you go ahead and add in. But Jason, what would if you're Ursay and you get to make one decision
Right now, today?
Yep.
I don't know that you do anything right now. I think you wait till the end of the season, but I think I think the whole coaching staff needs to turn over. Maybe keep Saturday. I don't know if he's gonna stay or not, but I think.
What's your feelings right now?
I think last week we gave up in that fourth quarter, and I saw players giving up, and to me, that goes back to
Unacceptable.
coaching. That's unacceptable.
I'm with you.
And there's something wrong in the system right now that needs to be corrected.
Yeah.
So,
I do respect Ursay's getting somebody, that has the same heart for the Colts as he does, right? I'm down with that. Go ahead and get, you need somebody, you gotta have some kind of feelings at that level.
right.
You know what I mean? You got, me and you, if we're gonna go into business, there's gotta be one common denominator that me and you agree on, right? There can be things we don't.
Right.
But I was fully backing him, and I still do back him with that kind of mentality a little bit. But right now, Saturday hasn't shown me the ability to grab that job and hold it.
Yeah, I think when he selected him, and also there's all that backfire on it, that he wasn't ready and all these guys.
Well, he defended himself when he shouldn't.
But I think Saturday was the right pick, because you gotta get somebody, you gotta get them believing again, you gotta get somebody that's been there before. I still like Saturday, and I hope he wins out and gets the head coaching job, but I think he's gotta bring in his own guys. There's just something right now in the
whole culture is right, isn't it?
that's broken with them. It's just, I don't know, it's bad.
Yeah, yeah,
It's been-
and the part that I'm having trouble with, it's hard to watch because I really don't think we're that bad of a team.
No, there's a lot of good
I don't think
players.
we focus hard enough on our players who are good. I don't know why we're not trying, to me, we need to run the ball 70% of the time.
Right.
If we can get our running back into space,
Right.
he's by far the best running back in the league.
I
But
agree.
we're not doing that. We're not creating opportunities for him. So we've already talked about, what about Matt Ryan? Where are we at with Matt?
I think we gotta be done with it.
As in, should he start next game?
I don't.
I don't.
I think we move on. I think, in my opinion, you play Ellinger. Foles isn't the future either.
I agree.
They're both old. Give Ellinger a shot. He actually, I thought, he played 2 games. I thought he looked pretty good in the first game. Second game, he was scrambling out of the gate for his life.
Right.
The line looks a little bit better now. We've got to open up the offense somehow. We haven't scored over. We're stuck in the teens
Right.
at best on points per game. So you gotta do something to try to mix it up. I go back to I wanted Frank to go because the play calling was just atrocious.
Horrible.
It was just so one dimensional, and somehow you look at Sean McVay and some of these young coaches, they're misdirecting stuff, they're throwing to the backstop, and they're using the whole field, and we were just so one dimensional.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if Saturday does stay, I hope we get a completely different offensive coordinator and scheme going there for sure.
Casey, 2 cents. What do you think, bro? I know you're not a Colts fan, but you're an Indianapolis native here.
But I'm an NFL fan,
Okay.
I don't go out and I don't buy Colts gear and stuff, but I've been to the games, obviously. I like the idea of having the NFL here. It brings a lot of jobs and a lot of money to town, obviously. But I do put my 2 cents in, and Green Bay, by the way, have their share of problems too.
Rough year there.
And it starts at quarterback. I've heard it from several different people, but mainly Brian Taylor, fellow Cleveland Park and Hal Hornet alumni. He made a mention online before that he had heard that, Saturday was brought in interim, just to learn a bit of the system. They're looking for a coach as we speak, and Saturday will probably fill the job of GM at the end of the season when they can pick up a coach. And I'm like, you know what? That makes a whole lot of sense. Saturday's kind of, a cerebral type guy. He's pretty smart. Let's learn the coaching aspect right here now. But I also, sorry to interrupt, how people, as Jason mentioned, had said, well, we don't think the Colts went through the right protocol. They didn't go through the coaching, as an interim coach, I found out yesterday, they do not have to do that. As a full-time coach of the NFL football team, they have to go through a certain protocol of the correct hiring processes
Yep.
and interviews. They do not have to for interim. They can do anything they want, and hence this is Jim Irsay's team, so he can do anything he wants. But I think obviously coaching changes need to be made. A few personnel changes. They've got some good pieces of the puzzle there. Is Matt Ryan the guy? No. Foles, he's had his shot out there, not necessarily with the Colts just yet, but put the young guy in there. They have nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah.
But I go back to a couple years ago when they drafted Jacob Eason. Why did they let him go and never give him a shot after a year or two? He had the strongest arm in the combine.
Right.
When he was coming out of college and stuff like that, and they draft him as one of the heir apparents, and then nothing.
Yeah.
Doug, what was you going to
I don't
say?
know.
Yeah, I was thinking on far as Saturday, we were talking about moving him into the GM spot. Man, I don't know. I'm a Saturday. I like I said, I love what they're trying to do. I'm having, I'm not totally sold on Saturday yet. He hasn't done anything. You can't just be a rah-rah guy. I'm a leader of men and all this stuff, and all that stuff makes sense, right? But I'm not seeing that. You know what I mean? Right now,
I got two names for you guys.
When I
We'll
say
start
one
with-
thing real quick,
Okay, go
when I
ahead.
say that, you put Matt Ryan in, right, and I agreed with it.
Right.
You're like, okay, we're gonna go back and see if that's the problem. Now, if you are the leader, it's your job to take him out.
Right.
Right.
And if you don't do that, then
Right.
sorry about your bad luck.
Well, I got two names for you. We'll start with Casey, if you guys don't care. And after I throw those two names, just say whatever comes to your head here and tell me what you think. The two names is this: Jim Harbaugh and Andrew Luck.
I'm going to go to Andrew Luck first.
Okay.
I think Andrew Luck, good kid, smart kid. Probably was, tired of taking a beating. I wish he would have retired in a different fashion. He probably shouldn't have started, training camp that year if he was going to, his mind wasn't just made up at the, snap of a finger. So he probably knew going into the training camp, I don't know if I'm going to stick this out or not. I really wish he, would have at least finished, gone on with that season or something. But I also think that it was kind of Bush League of how ESPN and Adam Schefter reported it too, and jumped the gun, and then don't even give the guy a chance to do it. Jim Harbaugh, nice guy. I don't think he's been the greatest coach out there. Obviously, he's doing some things with Michigan right now and not doing too bad, but he's suffered quite a bit. Could never beat Ohio State, and now he's beating Ohio State, and he's up there. But being the coach of Michigan, but as a Colts quarterback, I just think he was average myself. But that's me.
Jason?
Similar feelings.
Fan favorite though.
I like both guys. I respect both guys. I don't know what it is with Harbaugh, but I just don't feel like it's right. I don't think he's the guy for the position. Andrew Luck, there's just he's super smart, but he's been away from the game a little bit. I don't know how closely he's connected with it, and I'd rather see it go to somebody that's connected over the last couple of years. I am interested in your Jeff Saturday moving over to the GM. I think that makes a lot of, to me it makes sense. He's been tied in the press, he knows players, he
knows the media.
he knows the media, so I haven't been, our last couple of GMs, I've not been fans of either one of them, so.
I did hear a name that was potentially thrown around for the Colts, Sean Payton, that's wanting to get back into the game.
I would love that.
That would not be a bad.
I don't know that he wants to come to Indy, but if
Exactly.
he would come to Indy, I'd love that. That's the problem right now, is we're such in disarray right now. Any of these big coaches, how are you gonna get them super excited about coming to the Colts?
Well, I had the offensive line that we have with the running back I got,
Right,
and I was a coach.
right,
I'm not a coach, but I'll go down there and run that team right now better than they're doing.
yeah,
At least I feel like I can.
right.
You know what I mean? We're not doing anything to help our running game. And for some reason, we run last week against Dallas, we want to run the ball 7 yards. Then we get 14. And then we turn around, we got to pass 3 times. Why are we even thinking about passing?
We
Get
had
off
games
that
this year under
bullshit.
Reich where we didn't even hardly run Taylor in the second
Absolutely.
half after he dominated them.
And remember, in Tampa Bay, he
Yeah.
brought us back in
Yeah,
one game.
exactly.
They finally started running him and held
Well,
him
what's
down for
your
107 yards.
2 cents on the two names there, real quick, if you don't care?
As far as what?
Andrew Luck Jim Harbaugh.
I don't see no relevance in either guy.
And you guys understand why I brought those two names up.
Right.
What, you think they're gonna coach?
Well, in the media lately, those two names, Andrew Luck.
There again, don't let the media run your team.
Has expressed interest in possibly getting into coaching.
Was that the left
Jim-
side of the media?
There was an article where they mentioned about 12 names, and Jim Harbaugh was on there, and then Andrew Luck obviously expressed interest in getting back.
Well, you know,
into
when a
coaching.
college coach has a successful year like Harbaugh has, all of a sudden their names are thrown out there.
Right.
Everywhere.
Right.
So, you know, that's why his name would probably be out there. But.
And Andrew Luck, what the hell's his name? I mean, he's irrelevant. He's like
all of a
Mr.
sudden now
Irrelevant.
he's back in the news.
I'm
because
interested.
He's explained why he.
I don't know what you've been doing, player, but go
you know,
do it.
It's the mental part of the game is what took him out. You know, I'm tired of taking the beating and it's frustrating and I can't be the man I
And
wanna
right
be.
now, that's what you're gonna be jumping into, right?
Exactly.
It's gonna be frustrating, it's gonna be tough.
Be mental. It'll be mental, that's for sure.
I'd
Well,
say,
definitely
no.
bringing in Jeff Saturday.
Yeah.
That stirred a lot of things up. I can see both sides. Now, me on the coach side of the fence and being a Colts fan, I liked it for the simple fact, go back to the Bobby Knight days. The biggest thing I think could have helped the fan base would bring in one of our own guys. You know, I was on the Alfred bandwagon, whether that's right, whether that's wrong.
Everybody was.
But give me somebody that if he loses every game, I'm still okay with.
Well, that goes back to what,
Don't get me in an uproar. And I'm glad that Irsay, and I'm not a fan of Jim Irsay, okay? I respect him, but I'm not a fan. You know, if he was to say, where's the problem at, that's where I'm gonna pinpoint. But I'll leave that alone. But I'll give you kudos for simmering the fan base and bringing in one of our own.
Right.
I like that.
I agree. I think that's what he did, and it helped.
Yeah, it did.
See, years ago when you mentioned the Bobby Knight thing, IU could have done the same thing.
Yes.
But they drug their feet when it became irrelevant of if you were part of the IU family because the generations coming in and the fans and the students now,
Well,
they don't know that history, or they know a little bit of the history, but it was
and
irrelevant.
the thing about it is, Casey,
You know.
my opinion on that is, I still think that affects us to today.
Mhm.
Those decisions that happened then. So, let's shift gears here a little bit. If you guys don't care, we'll go with, we was talking out there, and I think we're all on at least a high note right now is the Indiana Pacers. They took a tough loss last night, got beat by 3. Brooklyn was out their main guys, but man, that Indiana team this year, Doug, they're playing well. You know, Jay brought them to our attention, the new kid. And they got some good chemistry, and I looked at things up today. They're 6th in the East, a lot better than I thought. What's your 2 cents on that?
I agree. I mean, probably way better than I thought, and the new guys are performing way better than, I mean, I'd never even heard of them, so for right now, they're making a pretty decent name in the NBA coming along. So I think we've got a nice, you know, chunk of clay there that they can maybe make something out of that they didn't have last year. So,
Jason, you're going to get down and see a few games here. What do you think with the new squad?
So we haven't seen many over the last couple of years. We had season tickets that we gave up right before COVID, so we weren't in on the COVID year. But Jen and I have gotten excited about this team just recently. We were at the game Friday night. What I see is a bunch of young guys that are hungry.
Yeah.
You've got Benedict Mathurin from Arizona. He's 20 years old. He's born in 2022. He's
Right.
20 years old,
Right.
and he's playing like
A veteran.
yeah, a veteran, and he's strong. It's like the NBA woke him up to his skill set because he can play more physical. You got Halliburton's a stud.
who's the kid from Gonzaga? Starts with an H, doesn't
Oh yeah.
Because he had a heck of a game the
Yeah.
other day, 30-some points when
Yeah.
all of our boys were out in
Yeah.
big Golden State.
They've got. I mean, they're very deep
Yes.
in the guard forward position. I still think we're weak at the center. I'm not a big Miles Turner fan.
Right.
I think he's good and he blocks some shots. But
It seems like he's playing a lot better with this group.
he is playing better with this group, but this group is playing hungry. It'll be interesting to see in the NBA. There's so many games, how long it's going to last that they play this hard. But they're just out there scrapping. You and I were talking about it before this, they're having a problem with rebounding right now, but that to me goes back to getting a big guy down there, that's just their job. I mean, we don't need Miles Turner scoring 20-some points from the 3-point line every game. We need a guy cleaning the glass.
Miles does like to shoot from the three.
He does.
Well, the Pacers do really.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, the Pacers are, probably one of the bigger 3-point shooting teams in the league, and actually not bad at it. So.
Casey, who's your NBA team?
Actually, none. To me, the NBA is more entertainment than the athleticism and everything else. 6 steps, no travel. All the flopping and everything. Again, I like having the NBA here in town. It gives people jobs. Brings money into town. But I do follow the Pacers a bit. But what I like about the Pacers, they do at least have a championship-winning coach. They've got somebody that's been there, done that. He's been through the hard times, the good times. So I think Carlisle can do a good job molding these guys,
I agree.
as Doug said. So.
Kind of like he did, didn't he win one at Dallas? Is that where he was at? When he kind of brought
Right.
Dirk.
Dirk.
He brought him along, and he's. I'd like to see us on the rebounding subject. I'd like to see us be a better team, rebounding team, and I think that's where we're kind of letting ourselves down right now a little bit. Is I don't think we're a very good rebounding team.
Yeah, you was mentioning that before we come in here tonight, or today. You like to see that get better?
Yeah, because there's very few guys, I don't know anybody on there that I want to lose. I don't know anybody I want to give up on this team, you know what I mean? I think we're a hell of a good team. I don't want to dismantle a piece. And the one thing that I noticed about the Pacers is they truly seem legitimately care about the other guy doing good and being part of it. Like you said, they bring in that college mentality
Right.
that they haven't learned, the pro part of it, taking 3 days off, not playing back-to-backs.
Yeah.
These cats are going, not playing back-to-back. Can we play 3 in a row? Can I play tomorrow? And that's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of mentality, I don't want to really take any piece out yet.
Now, Jason, I know that me and Casey and Doug are a little bit older than you. We kind of graduated around that 80 year, 81. You was telling me outside there, you graduated 86.
Right.
I know a lot of guys you know. Who's all the guys back in the day? I know you got a lot of them you ran around with and you played a lot of baseball with.
The Christian Park guys?
Just the Christian Park and Irvington. Mention your gang here, because I know
So
that's
my
a pretty good group of guys.
Paul Smith, freshman year, I
Yeah, I
came
know
in.
Paul.
So even though we were,
Paul's down in Tennessee right now.
no, he actually just moved back up to.
Did he?
He's in right outside of Cincinnati, down in Kentucky. He's in Florence.
Okay.
Florence, y'all.
I would say
Hey,
Florence,
Florence,
y'all.
This chairman, telling that player.
Florence, y'all.
Paul and I, freshman year, hooked up, and then through Paul, I met Charlie Ewells, I met Dennis Law.
Can Charlie play any golf?
Charlie
Yes.
can play some golf.
That's what Doug was telling me. Doug said Charlie's pretty sharp.
Yeah.
He's fun to watch around the green. He's real good with a short.
He can sell a car too.
Yeah. I can tell
So,
you.
so you got Paul Smith, you got Charlie. Who else did you just say there?
Dennis Law. Dennis
Yeah,
Law and
but-
I still are
No,
best
let me
friends
tell you
in
about
high school
Dennis Law.
today.
You know, me and Craig Messenger,
Yeah.
they're in-laws.
Yeah.
We played baseball together. Me and Craig did, but Dennis Law back in the day. He's more my brother's age, your age.
Yeah.
Dennis Law plays football. Dennis Law was an athlete.
Yeah.
Man, he was just an athlete. He could help a football player. But he could play baseball too, but yeah, hell of a guy. Who else you got here? Slow down just a little bit so I can comment a little, because I know most of your guys.
Yeah, from the Irvington side, Kevin Irish.
I don't know Irish that well, but I
Yeah.
like Kevin a lot.
Kevin and I grew up playing Little League together at Irvington. Ted Clemens, Little League together at Irvington.
Ted is the assistant varsity baseball coach at Cecina.
Yeah,
I like Ted.
yeah. Ted's a good guy.
He's a good golfer.
Who else was part of my group hanging out? I
What
kind of
about
had the
Dino?
first row. Dino, yeah, Dean's a couple years older. Dean's brother that passed away a couple
Mike.
years ago, Mike, he and I were best friends going up into freshman year, and then kind of took 2 different paths, and I kind of quit hanging. Didn't
So
hang out so much anymore.
you surely have had to have heard the Jimmy Stevenson stories.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's more back our age.
Jimmy grew up down the street from me though, so
Is
I
that
know
right?
Jimmy Stevenson for a long time.
Oh man, I can't get around that guy. Just when I think about it, it's like Casey just did. I just laugh when I think about Jimmy Stevenson. He's just fun to be
Oh,
around.
he's funny, yeah. So, but I was fortunate. One of the things I'm fortunate about growing up and going to Hal was, even though we were younger, Slab let us into his parties. I got to know kind of all you guys from that era.
What about me and Doug's old buddy, Curtis Dodd?
Oh, Curtis, yeah. Curtis was.
He ran around with all you guys.
I went to Daytona Beach for spring break with Curtis. Had a blast.
Doug lived with Curtis for a little while.
Yeah, he was a roommate.
Yeah, we used to go to some parties of yours.
Curtis had a hell of a glove, man.
Yeah,
Brian Dodd did too.
yeah.
The whole family was good, you know.
Yeah.
All
I don't remember much about Kevin. Kevin was always over.
Brian helped.
Kevin was stud duck wrestler.
Brian coached summer league when, and how I was telling you about that season we went, our summer league team where we hooked up with Tech High School. Brian was the assistant coach on that team.
Is that right?
Yeah, so I got to meet Brian through, Mark Hubbard brought him along and.
Now Robbie Vane ran around with you guys too.
Yeah, Robbie, I was thinking more on the athletic side, but,
Think of what? More on the
more on the
athletic
athletic side, not the brain guy.
Oh, you're gonna pay for that one.
He's bigger than any of us today, but, you know, steroids go a long way.
Oh boy, here we go.
Robbie and I,
Damn.
freshman year, became real good buddies. And a guy named Adrian
Well,
Gammons.
the reason I bring that up, what really intrigues me about your group of guys, is me and Casey and Doug here, we were really close with John Gannon.
Yeah.
But it seemed like that group of guys you just mentioned, that we kind of took one at a time there, he really connected with that group of guys too. And it kind of bent your group of guys and our group of guys. We kind of all came together, even though there was a little bit of an age difference.
Yeah.
But he definitely he really thought a lot of you guys. Charlie, you, I mean, like Casey, we were pretty tight with John. And man, he could wear you out in a good way. But he would just talk about you guys. I'm like, and even Foz, God, stories he would tell about you. And Jeff ran around.
Yeah, Jeff was one of my
Right?
buddies as well, yeah. So,
But it just amazed me how he connected with so many different age level of kids through the years, and then kind of brought us all together. And I remember anytime I was getting ready to go hang out or go do anything in life, if I knew John Gannon was going to be there,
You know it's gonna be a good time.
It was going to be a hell of a time, and you're going to feel good about yourself and about everything going on.
And the BS would be flowing.
Oh, how do you say, Jason? Greatest story ever.
yeah, the greatest story ever. So, yeah,
Everybody had a greatest story ever.
we all learned how to gamble through Gannon, that's for sure.
And drink.
One of my first times I ever went out with him, or got introduced to Gannon, we were all taking a trip to Turfway Park. I'm like, not even supposed to be in there probably, 16, 17 years old, riding in Gannon's old Honda, like 6 or 8 of us in the car, flying out 74 and going to Turfway Park to
I bet you had a
horses.
blast.
Oh my, we still laugh about those stories, it's so much fun.
You know, him and Charlie were pretty tight.
Yeah,
You know, he loved to go out there to see Charlie.
yeah.
Come on, you gotta go. I mean, I ain't going 8 hours out there. I ain't got time. Because I'll see you later. He'd be gone. But yeah, he really thought a lot of Charlie. And that whole group of guys that Hal, you guys ran around with. And it's like he connected 2 eras there. You know what I mean? And we all become pretty good friends.
Yeah.
That's good.
I got to go out and see Charlie one time.
This is a good story.
Tell it.
What was it? Was it his bachelor party?
Yeah, it was Charlie's bachelor party, and
So Jason,
I called Doug up and I said, hey, you want to go out to Charlie's bachelor party with me? And he's like, yeah, where's he live? And I said, Lee Summit, Missouri. And he said, well, where's that? I said, just on the other side of St. Louis.
right?
So we jump in the car. This is before
So back then you didn't have
this
Google.
is
You couldn't
before
look all
Google
this
Maps
up.
and everything.
I'm just going, okay, play right outside of
Triple A.
St. Louis. Let's do it.
So we're headed out there. We're driving. Doug's driving his car, and we get past St. Louis. We're already tired. He's like, "How much we got? How much more we got?" We get up to a sign. It's like 100
Kansas City,
yeah, I
man.
forget
It's
what
like
it was.
180
Kansas City,
miles or
180
something.
miles or something like that.
And I'm like, what?
He just looked at me and he said,
Hey, man.
he goes, "Hey man, can you do me a favor?" And I said, "What?" He said, "Under that floor mat on your passenger side is my pistol." He said, "Can you get it so I can put a bullet in it?"
Did you really say that?
Yeah. And I pulled up the floor mat. Sure enough, there was a pistol under the floor mat.
Golly. That was a good weekend though. We had a lot of
Oh, we
fun
had
out there with
a blast,
Charlie.
yeah. But we said from there we never gonna drive out to Kansas City.
Kansas
You know,
City.
we'll fly. next
Right.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a longer trip than you think.
Now, Casey, I didn't know this. I kind of had an idea. remember a little bit, but I seen something where you kind of explained how you met John. It was
1969.
It was with your brother?
Yeah.
Your brother and him was good friends?
We moved from Lawrence, Indiana. My dad worked at Ford, and we were having a house built.
I never knew that.
We had a house being built over by School 111, over on East Ridge by the Jacobs.
Sure.
Yeah.
But, so we rented it, we originally were from Brightwood, 25th and Almond. We're having a house built for us down in your neck of the woods there by School 111. So we had sold our house in Brightwood. We're having a house built, rented a house in Lawrence for about a year while the house was being built. So Dad would drive us to St. Bernadette on his way to Ford every day, you know, because that's where the school we were going to be going to. Well, the company that was building our house went bankrupt. So we lost the house. So we still ended up buying a house over by Christian Park, over by the Dairy Queen, over on Span. So we started going to St. Bernadette, and my oldest brother Tandy was in 8th grade at the time, and that same class as
Same age.
John Lorenzano, or not John Lorenzano, Mark Lorenzano, John Gannon, Tim Linehan, and that's how I got to meet John. You know, he comes over to the house, you know, after he met Tandy, and they played football and basketball, and they played on the same team at Christian Park together, Missiles, baseball. And I was always like, who's this scrawny dude? You know, I'm only 6 years old. You know, who's this scrawny kid with this curly hair and these big ears? You know, it ended up being John Gannon, and you know, who knew? You know, 5 or 6 years later, he's coaching me in ball over at Christian Park. You know, because he was kind of like the Dick Clark. He was a kid that never grew up, never seemed to age. You know, but that's how I met John and got to be close with John.
Okay.
So through the family thing in school.
Casey, you didn't do much roller skating, did you, back in the day? I don't remember, because me and Doug was big on roller skating.
True story here, you're gonna think it's a bunch of BS, but when my mom and dad got married, the day my dad married my mom was the day he could have become a professional roller skater back in 1955.
Really?
Out of Melody Skate Land on the west side.
Yeah.
I've got pictures of him twirling mom in the air with her poodle skirt and roller skates, not ice skates, roller skates. You know, he was that good back then. So I roller skated as a kid, went to all the skating parties at Melody or USA or, you know, what all the other ones around Rollerland and all that. But then in high school, a few times I would go with Mike Geisler and Ron Songer and stuff, and we'd go over to Beach Grove Roller Dome.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just there to meet the girls or see the girls and stuff. You know, I couldn't even skate backwards. I loved to skate and I was pretty good, other than going backwards. But I also spent more time in the penalty box too. You know.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Always
As a
getting in
kid,
trouble. Yeah,
I like that, man. They had a little penalty box. You'd be off, go over and be in the penalty box for 15 minutes.
But I
Jason, what
love
about you? Did you do much skating?
So I didn't even know about skating until my 8th grade year. I was a force manner,
Yeah.
and a roller cave was big.
Okay.
Roller
Yeah.
cave was fairly new.
There you go.
Yeah, man, better fall apart on me.
Overall, you've done a hell of a job.
I know you're on a bad,
Well,
bad stool.
when I get back here, I'm fine, but then when I go bring the spirit closer. I don't have to reach as far.
Somebody's Christmas present to some new schools. You think?
Well, he's already told me.
So roller cave was big, and I learned really quickly that I needed to learn to skate if I wanted to pursue some of the girls that I wanted to go out with. Because
Right.
they'd be at school Monday morning talking about the Friday, Saturday night roller cave parties, and so I was like Casey. I was never real good. I learned enough to.
Yeah, you do know Doug was good.
I've heard stories about that.
Yeah,
on
Doug is
stage,
good.
yeah.
That's where player
But
kids.
those roller cave parties were fun. I mean, even just hanging out, standing
Yeah.
around, talking to people.
Oh, yeah.
It's something that I think kids miss today.
Yeah.
We had,
I do too.
yeah, our generations had some really cool ways to
Yeah.
have fun.
We was always trying something, wasn't we?
Yeah,
Always something.
Heck, I learned to play air hockey,
yeah,
foosball,
Foosball.
pinball, got all that stuff when I was going roller skating.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I got one for you, Bobby, and it kind of intertwines with roller skating. And you know, Bobby was talking about playing video games. Quarterback.
Quarterdeck.
Mm-hmm.
The big arcade that was right across the street from Eastgate.
Oh, I do remember that.
Then it was named Good Time Charlie.
Yep.
That's where everybody went on the east side to,
Yeah.
to play foosball, play video, play pool, you know.
Look,
good
good pool tournaments over there.
Oh, yeah.
George Breedlove played over there. I don't know if you know who George Breedlove is, but he ended up marrying the Black Widow, the girl that became
Jeanette Leigh or whatever.
became the world champion.
Yes.
George Breedlove was a heck of a pool player himself, and he married her. And yeah.
Now, what was the spot down on the south side that looked like that? Wasn't there?
Mr. and Mrs. Q?
Mr. and Mrs. Q for pool, yes.
What was Shazam's?
Shazam's more like a dance
Arcade.
club.
Well, that was
Oh,
like
yeah,
under
more-
21 club.
Yeah, but it was like a little dance club.
I
They had
didn't do
arcades.
much there.
Yeah.
So. We got a buddy though that
Jack Rob ran it, didn't he?
he was the guy.
Jack was, man.
Jack used to tell me stories. I'd be like, damn, John Travolta.
Yeah.
I got a good quarterdeck story.
All right, go ahead, buddy. Let's hear
So
it.
one of the athletes at Hal that I think probably one of the better athletes I ever played with in any sport was Greg Avella.
Yes.
And Greg Avella went to the state finals in tennis, which coming out of an IPS school was pretty impressive.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Paco was a good tennis player too.
Paco, great.
They were number one, number two. I had a head injury. I played baseball, basketball, and football at Hal, and then I had a head injury my sophomore year, and I couldn't play football anymore. So I ended up last junior and senior year played baseball, basketball, and tennis.
Did you play all 4 years basketball?
No, I quit playing basketball. Going in after that head injury, I didn't come back and play basketball. It was by choice. I could have played, but I didn't end up playing. But
Greg could shoot.
Greg could shoot. Greg could handle the basketball. But Greg, because of tennis and the topspin, had these forearms and wrists that were so freaking strong. He could arm. I never saw anybody beat him in arm wrestling. And I always had a job through high school, so I always had a little bit of money. And he's like, hey, you want to make some money this weekend? Let's go to Quarterdeck. That's where all the Warren Central football players are hanging out. And he goes, you back me on the money, and we'll make a lot of money tonight. So we go on Quarterdeck, probably $100 in my pocket, come out with like $300 or $400. He had
Playing foosball?
He had no arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling?
He had linemen. He was smashing down. He probably went 10-0 that night.
Wow.
Betting guys on arm wrestling on the table. We got out there. They were chasing us out in the lot.
And this is at Quarterdeck?
At Quarterdeck. Greg's passed away. I don't know if you guys
Right.
knew that. Yeah, he had cancer and passed away a few years ago. And Greg was a quiet guy. I didn't hang out with him a lot, but had some really good times with him. I always loved going over to Christian Park and playing some basketball with him. And
My 12-year-old year in Little League, we had 2 10-year-olds on the team, and we were decent. A lot of our success was my dad, I feel, but we had 2 10-year-olds, and it was Greg Abella
yeah.
and Mike McGinley. So you look at them now, that's 2 good athletes. But Greg, man, he was just phenomenal back in the
We
day.
mentioned it before, back in one of the other podcasts. His basketball goal was like 11 or 12 feet in the backyard.
So it's higher.
Yes, because he was shorter. So his dad made it taller because he goes, you're going to have to shoot over these guys. And I remember going to his house and I couldn't even
That
throw
was
it that
smart.
high. Well, his dad was a boxer, Mr. Abella. So he was very athletic and everything. But he told his son, he goes, these are the cards you're dealt. You're smaller than everybody else. Deal with it. That's how he dealt with it. With basketball. Man, the kid
Well,
could
he's
shoot.
so demanding.
I remember that.
Valley had a pretty good forehand too.
Yeah, the city tournament in basketball, he was on a fast break, stole it. I don't know if you guys remember that game. Up against Cathedral, he went up right-handed, brought it back down, and flipped it over on the other side of the rim left-handed and scored a winning bucket. I think it was city tournament. It might have been when we played Cathedral during the season. That was probably.
Yeah, he played all 4 years at Howe, basketball?
Yeah, he played basketball all 4 years. He played tennis all 4 years. He played baseball. Wasn't a great baseball player, but he was fast, so he'd get in to run a little
Yeah,
bit.
he was an athlete.
Paco played baseball too. I met him on the baseball field.
Paco, great.
Yeah.
That's what his dad always say. If you see him, if you wanted to leave, Paco, great.
Yeah, tennis. We were playing somewhere, and I think it was city tournament. And Paco and Greg ended up playing against each other, and Mr. Abella was on the fence going, "Hey Paco, you beat Greg, I'll buy you a big steak. I'll buy you a big steak." and he turned around to us. He goes, "Paco never beat Greg."
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Mr. Abella, and then the years later when we were going in, when we were hanging out in our 20s going to the bars, Mr. Abella was.
Oh
The
yeah.
bars would close down at 3 o'clock. The bar over there off of Sherman and Prospect,
Oh
the
yeah.
big one in between
Sundance.
Southeastern
Sundance.
Sundance.
Yeah.
We'd leave at 3 a.m. Mr. Bell would be out in the parking lot with his trunk open and a cooler of beer selling beer.
Yeah.
I ran into him with Ronnie Carice over at the King of Clubs, over there, across from Harvester on Brookville Road, and we're, oh, hey, Mr. Bella goes, I remember you. You the one that threw the ball wild. And Ronnie's like, yeah, he knows you, Casey. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Good old guy.
When we had our last bad podcast, Lisa Pruitt started because I asked him, was Casey, because, well, they said they played the flag or something.
Capture the flag.
Capture the flag. So Casey, she goes, no. But she was kind of giving me the demographics of all the neighborhoods around Christian Park and where they was at. I thought that was pretty cool.
I lived over, like I said, by the Dairy Queen by Mark Huffman, Craig Tackett, David and Jeff Chambers, if you know those
I
guys.
thought Tackett lived more close over to 21. I see where you just said hi, or said
Yeah, it was his birthday this last week. I lived on
Let me
Spain,
tell you,
and
Craig
Craig lived right behind me on.
You might have heard this one, but this is a good one. Freshman year, we're at Tech, and we're trying out for the baseball team. So Craig's in front of me, getting ground balls hit to him from Dave George. And he hits him the ball, he goes through his legs, comes to me, I pick it up, he comes running back to grab it, I toss it to him. As I'm tossing it to him, he looks at me and goes, I'm cut. But Craig, man, he was so good to me. He used to come and get me all the time. We'd go roller skating, USA East, but me and him hung out, and the whole time I can remember hanging out with him, man, it was always just so much fun, because he was just so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a son, Casey.
Oh, I know Sam. Played at Plainfield and went to IU Kokomo. He was throwing in the 90s. Pitch up. I went and watched him play against Perry Meridian over at Mary Bryan on the south side his senior year. Kid was a real deal.
Yeah, he's a real deal.
Yes.
I was glad to hear that. I seen Tackett on Facebook, he reached out to me, but me and him was always really tight.
You mentioned Dave George. Jen and I saw Jeff George. I hadn't seen him in a long time at the Pacer game Friday night.
Did you?
Yeah.
How does throwing arm look? He's ready still, isn't he?
Actually, Jen said, I saw him, so I've got this uncanny ability to recognize faces. So I remember anybody, and sometimes I have trouble with names if it's somebody that's not a celebrity or whatever, but across we were down low and they've got little bars in Club 67, which is, 67 is when the Pacers started. Down below, I said, that's Jeff George. He had his hat on backwards. He
always wore it backwards.
Yeah, hat was always on backwards. And I said, that's Jeff George. She goes, no, that guy's much younger than us. And he physically looked like he could still maybe go out there and play some ball. That's a guy that I played against him in baseball and football a little bit. I'm surprised that he didn't go further in the NFL. Just didn't have the head. That arm was unbelievable.
When I was a senior, he was a 7th grader in 8th grader. And he come to a batting practice to us. Coward could get the bat on the ball, I could get the bat on the ball. Other than that, that was about it. But I asked Mr. George once, I said, when did you realize Jeff had a chance maybe doing something? He goes, Bobby goes, I never did. He goes, Ernie brought it to my attention. Ernie was the head coach at Tech. I never knew it. Ernie Klein and Mr. George, I call him Mr. George or Coach George, they were best friends. And he said Ernie brought it to his attention, said, hey, your kid's got something special there. He, like you said, he just had an arm that was just, it's unbelievable, the arm he had. If it wouldn't have been for Culpepper, I think Jeff's whole career in the NFL is totally different.
Right.
Culpepper came in and got his job. If he could have had another year or two to throw to Moss and to Carter, I think.
Well, he's got the
Well,
height.
didn't they do the same thing to him here? I mean, we went and got him, then we got
We signed the first overall pick
and then we traded
to Atlanta.
Rison
Yeah.
and Hinton, the basically his tackle. We traded 2 of the players that he would have needed to be successful.
Right.
It was like there again, it was not very good.
Yeah.
GMing, but yeah.
I know one thing. I gotta give him props for one thing. He got paid.
Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
signed some nice contracts.
Well, I'm just saying he could have probably done more here had they kept
Casey,
him.
did you see where my buddy, my family
Listen.
friend's kid got a pitch in the World Series?
Which one?
Kyle Gibson.
Oh, no. I didn't.
He actually got a pitch in one inning. He played all year, started on for him, had like a 10-8 season. He's Jay's age. Got a pitch one inning. Popped the first guy up, struck the second guy out.
Where was he from?
He's from Greenfield.
I thought
He played at Cathedral and moved back to Greenfield. Next guy, third guy got a hit on him, then he grounded out the third guy. But I mean, just think about that for a second. Pitched in the World Series.
I get excited. I went to a World Series game when the Cubs won in 16, and that's probably one of the best memories of my whole life is just being at the World
I mean, that's
Series.
every kid.
Just think about
World
playing
Series.
Right.
2 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Basically loaded.
that's pretty cool.
Well, guys, we're gonna wrap it up, but it's been, I know we could talk another hour easy, maybe more, but it's been a great time, and I appreciate all you guys being here.
So, real quick, who's gonna win the World Cup?
That's a good one. I don't think it's playing.
Who cares?
Who's left?
I didn't say.
That likes soccer.
Did France win?
At the moment, if I'm not a big baseball guy, but when
France
the World
win?
Series starts playing, I pay attention.
Did France
Well,
win or
I've
England?
been paying attention
You
to
know
the
what I
soccer
mean?
thing.
That's where I'm at with
Did
it.
France or England win the other day?
France did win, so right now Morocco,
Did you see
being
all
the first
commercials on
African
TV
team to
now
make it to
about, is it football, is it soccer, is Peyton Manning, is David Beckham, you know, there's all kinds of commercials, so, you know, that's the big fun argument, right?
Casey, always a pleasure, man. I appreciate you, man. I really look up to you and think a lot of you.
Anytime, boss.
Jason, man, you're a good guy. I really
Thank you.
appreciate
Thanks
you
for
being
having
here
me.
today.
It's my financial advisor.
Good to be around you guys. Always good.
Till next time, we'll see you.
Peace.